So I called Brandon. I locked myself out of my computer. I can't remember my password.
Don't say it. You're on a live broadcast right now.
So anyway, thanks, Bernie. I check my email every day. I don't know how it locked me out, but I guess I just tried too many times to get in. Okay, so I looked at, I guess.
He's out today. I'm covering, but I'm doing this project in my office. After this, Craig Miller might be in his office.
Okay, so how do I get over the end?
Craig Miller.
Okay, thanks.
Real quick, folks, as you're taking your seats, just want to say that, today is the kickoff is really focused on our community project. And I want to just say first off that, of course, the community project's it's been developed by all of you that had input, but I want to especially thank the group that's been working this summer. And I think you are in for a great surprise. You're going to enjoy this next presentation. So I'm going to turn it over to this.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Does everyone have the FYE 100 Strategies for College Success syllabus preview and their yellow racing ticket? Does everyone have that? Bernie has them. You don't have yours. There's someone down here that doesn't. Actually, Dr. Williams. While those are being handed out, I'm going to go ahead and do my role in this, which is sort of give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. How about that? But a different kind of history lesson. Those of us that have been involved in this project, really almost from the very beginning, you probably find it hard to believe that we've been working with the QEP for about 20 months now. The whole project started in fall of 2013. We're just sort of the exploratory phase at that point. Then in spring of 2014, the 3P committee assembled the journal clubs and the benchmark bunch sessions. Most of you attended, one if not a couple of those. We basically assembled a list of concerns that we had about our students and ways that we might address those concerns. We took pretty good, I think, detailed notes from each of those sessions, compiled them, and then categorized those topics into, about 4 neat areas of research. Engagement was one of them, expectations, campus culture. We also looked at teacher training. There were just 4 basic areas that we categorized and looked at over the course of the summer of 2014. The 4 co-chairs, you might remember me, Meredith, Matt, and Misty coming here before you last year at Kickoff to present you our research. So that's what we had done that summer, is look at those topics, research best practices, and we provided little brief summaries of that to you all at last Kickoff. And then in the fall of 2014, taking all that data and all that research, we arrived at the conclusion that the way that we might best address those needs that our students have is through a first-year experience course. And we moved from there, working on what that course might look like, what we might include in it. And then in February of 2015, you all might remember that during the college assembly for that month, Meredith and myself presented to you all an outline of what that course would look like. We talked about the days of the week that it would be offered. The general theme of the course is to supply our students with the skills and tools necessary to be successful in college. So that's what we had said as a college, the main thing that concerned us. So that's the essential goal of the course. And then in March of 2015, at that college assembly, you all might remember that the faculty voted to make it mandatory. And then throughout the course of the summer of 2015, this past summer, the 4 co-chairs, with the brilliant addition of Kevin Girdmore, Dr. Mark Maltby, and Dr. Kurt Lewis, all work together to not only work on fine-tuning the FYE 100 course, drafting the syllabus, coming up with what the course would look like, style, delivery, all of that. We also submitted the draft of the QEP to our SACS liaison, and to my knowledge, we're still waiting for that feedback. So that's where we are in the process, but what we're doing today is basically giving you a preview of what our students are going to see the first week of your first year experience course. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Kevin and Meredith.
Welcome to Owensboro Community Technical College's first year experience course. Your host, Dr. Meredith Skaggs and Mr. Kevin Beardmore. Get ready to race to success.
I know we talked about this a lot of times, but I really thought I got you to come over to the horsepower side. You know, I mean, it's just racing. I know there's heritage and you can horse racing, but you can get there faster if you're racing for success, if you're in a NASCAR.
But I mean, it's manufactured. It's not just given to the grace that is the bluegrass stage of our tradition and history. And let's face it, it's me. People know this. When you say racing, I don't do all that. I do this.
Well,
I don't know what that is.
we're going to get there first, but I got to tell you, I noticed that it seems though that you got to the kickoff committee because the horses seem on top of the flags to me.
Okay,
So
I didn't add that. People just know.
Okay.
People just know. I didn't do it.
Well, welcome to FYE 100. We're your hosts, and we want to give you a little look at what this course is all about. You've had a chance in Start Center to get a little preview of it because you were told it was required. Faculty and staff said it's something you need to take. And so today, let's tell you what it's all about. So the initial questions you may have are pretty basic ones. You know, who, what, where, when, how, what's going on with this course? So let's talk about that. So first up, this course is fundamentally about you. It is about knowing yourself and your strengths. It's about knowing what your future is, thinking about what your personal and professional goals are. And we know that some of you you've really decided what those goals are, while others of you are still coming to those conclusions. That's what we're here for, because this course is about you and how we as a campus community can help you get to where you want to be.
So we're going to talk a bit about the structure of what your FYE class is going to look like. You're going to have general sessions, which is where you're at right now, and then you're going to have breakout sessions. So I'm going to start with the general information. This class meets from 11 to 12:15, which you should know because you're here in class, which is a good first step. And it is going to start out with the 30 minutes here with Kevin and myself, and that's what we're calling the general session. After we get done with the general session, then you will spend the rest of your class time with your breakout instructor. The class meets for 10 weeks. The first 9 of those weeks are consecutive, so we're going to meet every Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever day it happens to be, for the first 9 weeks, and then we'll take a break from this class to give you some time to schedule an appointment with your official academic advisor, and then we'll come back with a good Thanksgiving to wrap up FYE 100. There are also some outside activities, and this is where we need to talk about a program called Merit. Merit, if you're familiar with LinkedIn, Merit is similar for students. It allows you to track your academic accomplishments while you're here at OCTC. So whenever you look at the calendar of events, you will see an indicator that says Merit Approved. It's a great way to share some of the ideas and activities that you're learning and participating in while you're here at OCTC. It allows employers to see what you're participating in, and it gives you a way to keep track of things that you're doing outside of the classroom. There will be some merit-approved activities that are required for you during this class, so make sure you pay attention to those when you get those emails. So during the general session, which is where we're at right now. You're going to hear from Kevin and myself. We're going to be the host of these sessions, but there will always be a keynote speaker. Those keynote speakers are going to be really important people from our campus, so different departments and divisions that have things that we think everyone on campus needs to hear. And when I say we think, I mean your faculty that you're going to have, I mean staff members that you're going to see on campus, and even some of your fellow students have helped come up with what we think are the important keynote topics. So you really want to make sure that you pay attention to those keynote speakers. On your racing ticket that you were handed out as you walked in today, you will see that there's a list of need-to-know items. That's a list that's on the right sheet. Those are need-to-knows that are really important to that specific topic of the day, and it helps you keep an idea of what we're going to talk about during that keynote and what you might talk about in your breakout session. You're going to be asked to rank those items from most important to least important later on, but just keep that in mind as we go through this, that you want to start thinking about what's the most important thing that I'm learning here, so you can keep track of that for later in your breakout session. On the other side, you'll see where it says a 1-minute paper, where there are 3 questions. Before you finish this general session, we're going to have a 1-minute time period for you to jot down ideas really quickly. Now that means if you have a question as we go through this, go ahead and jot it down. You don't have to wait for that 1 minute, but you will be asked to complete that 1-minute paper. Then after we get done with the 1-minute paper, you'll transition to your breakout session. You'll turn in your 1-minute paper. It is worth 30 points, so you definitely want to make sure that you get to your breakout session and turn it in. You'll prioritize your need-to-know items as a class to see and talk about it and see who thought what was important, because you'll probably have different ideas based upon your own experience. And then it's also an opportunity for you to ask questions of your breakout instructor and to see if they have answers for those. Your other fellow students may have some answers, and if there aren't answers in the room, that's okay. Your breakout instructor can take those questions, and you can come back the next week and get those answers.
So next up, homework. Thinking about what you need to do for this class. You may remember in your orientation, Dr. Gazdak talked about how for every hour of class, you're investing 2 hours outside of class. That's true for this class too. Now that being said, this is a class you can get an A in. So let's just transport forward to Christmas time, and one of your relatives asks you, how did you do at college? You can answer, I got an A. Okay, so that's, you want to make sure, no matter what happens, you can get an A in this class, and we're here to help you do that. But there's work you have to do, and it's not hard work. So let's talk about that. The racing ticket, predicting the top 3 need-to-knows. Each week, you're going to do something beyond just prioritize those. You're going to predict what you think the survey said. Okay, yeah, that sounds like Family Feud. You're right. What you're trying to do is figure out what the rest of your classmates are thinking are the top need-to-knows. So you're going to take your guess at it, and we're going to have a little marketing giveaway the next week for those. We'll draw from all the ones who get it right. It's really a trifecta when you think about it. Can you get those top 3 need-to-knows? See what the finishers are? What, I'm sorry, did I miss one of those racing things?
That's horse racing, because that's racing.
Oh. Yeah, that should have been yours. We'll have to give that one back to you next time we do that. We'll do that tomorrow. So yeah, each week you have a pre-test. Now the pre-test, you know how I said there's that easy A you can get through this class? Each week you're going to be pre-tested on what's coming up the next week. You can't fail the pre-test. All you have to do is try. Now you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I'll try. I'm just going to click C, 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 C. Well, let me tell you why you don't want to do that. Because there is a final for this class. Yes, it's true. There's a final. Just like the checkered flag, it's going to happen. But the final is completely made up of the pretest questions. All the answers are going to be given to you along through the course. So as long as you're paying attention to what's going on, you're going to be able to ace the final. And remember, talk up that A at Christmas time, no matter what else happens. There will be an instructor assignment in your breakout. That instructor assignment, there's one we recommend, but it's up to your instructor. They'll decide. We'll talk more about that later. And there's other activities that may be on your syllabus. Because one thing I want to mention is, we're your hosts. We're not your instructors. So if you look on your schedule right now, it shows your classroom is here, Tuesday, 11 o'clock, but it says staff. What's going to happen here this next week is that you're going to be transitioning to your breakout instructor that you're going to meet in just a few minutes. You think to yourself, and some of you may already notice, that on the back of your racing ticket, there's a listing of all the names and the instructors in the rooms you'll be going to in a few minutes. You'll know it's not there yet. So anyhow, your official official instructor for the course is actually your breakout instructor. We're your hosts here each week. So with that, let's just introduce ourselves. So
my name is Dr. Meredith Skaggs. You can call me Meredith. I teach in the communication department as an assistant professor. So some of you may have me as a public speaking instructor or interpersonal. I'm also faculty sponsor for a student group on campus, which is the Cornerstone Campus Ministry.
And I am Kevin Gilmore. I'm Vice President of Student Affairs. Some of you saw me at the orientation. And you'll be seeing a lot more about us, so we're not going to tell a lot more stories at this point. One thing we do want to mention is you can call us Meredith and Kevin. That's A-okay. Now, just because you can call us Meredith and Kevin doesn't mean you can call all your instructors by their first name. This is college tip number 1. No, you need to know this, but find out what they want you to call them. So, it's always safe to say Professor so-and-so. That's a good way to go if you're not sure. But asking is always important. I used to think it was a good idea to say like doctors, like Dr. Smith. Well, it is a true story. Maybe the one person in this room will remember it. When I took a course here and called someone Dr. So-and-so, they informed me that that was not their title. That they could either refer to me as the bottom part that is involved in a colonoscopy, or you could call it by their first name. So, I'll never forget that. And I want you to know I've never referred to them as that either. So I try to be polite. So, by the way, if you get that professor, he said it's okay, and he's a great professor, trust me, it's okay. So, with that, let's tell you a little bit more. Well, no, it's time for a word from our sponsor every week. That's right, every week we have a sponsor, and the first week the sponsor is the library. So let's welcome Ms. Donna Abel, the library director. Thank you. Let's give her a Let me step out of the role again for a second. We didn't tell Donna she was on. So she doesn't have, you already have a free lunch, But see, you may notice what's going to happen as Donna's talking is if she doesn't look behind her, she may not notice that there's a little something running, which is you're sponsoring, and so you have 60 seconds. And so it's kind of like the fancy farm picnic when the UK party song starts playing after 5 minutes, you have to stop or they're going to drown you out. Well, what's going to happen is the sponsor has 60 seconds to share some information, and we have some great sponsors. We've actually filled all our spots for the semester, so I'm thrilled to say that we have those, but the library is the first sponsor. If you wish to sponsor in the future, sponsoring is just work. The food is provided, the money to buy the refreshments is provided, so you just have to make sure it gets to the breakout rooms. So I'm very thankful we have a lot of sponsors, and thankful to the library to do it first, and to financial aid, who's doing the lemonade from financial aid. So with that, you'll notice that
That's really NASCAR of you.
Hey, look at that. We can thank the library for sponsoring.
Thank you, library. That's when I'll be obnoxious and start clapping and say everybody was going to be out. So thank you, library, for that refreshment. Thank you, all your sponsors. We're very NASCAR. That was good. Okay. So we are then I would introduce the keynote speaker. And then so for the first week, the keynote speaker is going to be us. Because it is about OCTC wires. So these are ways to get connected to OCTC so you can stay in communication, know what's happening. So things like email, Blackboard, and Kickoff. So we're going to go do a brief overview of what those things mean, and then give you an opportunity in your breakout sessions to follow the questions that you have.
Well, I told you this is going to be easy, right? So let's start out with the most easy thing, your username and your email. So just remember, your username is that first initial last name with a 4-digit number, and that's what is used to create your email address. So, just a few example email addresses that I picked out of, some random students here at the college. You know who all these are, right?
I know the first one because I would be booted out in Kentucky and the South in general if I didn't know the first one. The second one, I know she wears bathing suits on boats because that's the new story.
She was the GoDaddy girl, right?
Yeah. I assume she also races cars. I don't remember to talk about that part. But I don't know the last one at all.
You might find it interesting. No, this is another famous just inducted in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, Wendell Scott. He was actually the first African-American NASCAR driver, and he was also the first one to win a Grand National Series race, which you know is a sprint cup race. So,
Very cool.
just some examples I wanted to throw in there. Meredith. I don't know.
Thanks for the
You're
knowledge.
very welcome.
All right, so your student ID number, which is going to be 9 digits. I feel like there's a test me. I'm not too sure. It starts out with 2 zeros, and then you have the rest of the numbers after that. Your student ID number is important when it comes to things like trying to track down your student schedule, or whenever you go to some of the events, it's a lot more helpful if you have your student ID number.
Those are not the numbers I promised the presentation. What are those? I suppose they have some special
I don't
significance.
know what it means. I don't know.
You don't know what I did to you?
No, what did you do?
Well, why don't you click and find out?
Oh, man. Yes. All right, this is real racing facts, y'all. All right, so, yeah, it is the next Derby. Yeah. All right.
5/7/2016, of course, 37 years since, and then
American Pharaoh is still rocking it. Stay in touch with your racing stuff, guys. This is history happening right now.
well, I really love that last fact when I found out your outfit is actually.
These are actually replication silks from Secretariat and Secretariat and Jockey. So I'm a fan of the Big Red Horse.
So just
Very
remember,
cool.
1973, that record, I mean, it may have been 37 years, but that record still stands.
That does stand. Thank you. That was very nice of your NASCAR self. I appreciate it.
Let me tell you some more easy stuff that, and I say that, but I have a feeling there's probably several dozen in this room right now. I'm going to tell you something and you didn't realize it. And that's what we're going to start rolling through a lot of these pieces of information. I want to make sure you know. Sometimes people try to put a bookmark or remember, favorite items that they need to find, like email, Blackboard for course materials and such. Everything is at the top of our website. So if you just bookmark the OCTC website, you can always find access to student self-service, which is also called PeopleSoft, because that's the name of the company that makes it. They're part of Oracle. So if you click on self-service, you'll go in and you'll see your service center. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is I am not going to show you all this stuff. Here's what you need to do. And this is what good students do in the first week classes. They go in there and click on all of it. That's right, all of it. Click on all of it and just look around. You can't break it. You can't mess it up. See what's available there. Then you'll know what's there in the future. You only have to figure this out one time. Once you have that knowledge, you move forward. I do want to point out one thing, because a lot of people miss it after they may be clicking a lot of different links. See here, it actually says schedule with classroom location, and this is KCTCS schedule. You're probably like, why do they use the word schedule twice? That's actually 2 different links. If you click on the second link, you'll actually get the exact schedule like you print out the Start Center. So we have people, I tell you, every year, there must be 100 people that come through the Start Center and say, can you give me a copy of that schedule you gave me before? Because the one I printed out in PeopleSoft doesn't look like that. You can get to it too. It's all right there. Changing to resetting your password, back to our home page, you can see this user account center. You may remember that's where you set it up. That's also where you get that message to change your password or update it. So it's all right there once again. And the email link is there too. And back to you.
All right, so this class only meets on Tuesday. And so you'll just come here on Tuesday and Wednesday from the 11 to 12:15 time slot. Some people don't know what R means, so if you look at your schedule, if you have a Tuesday and Thursday class, you'll see TR, and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There is no Tuesday. So what does this R stand for? Although it kind of sounds like Halloweenish, so maybe we should make that happen. But the R stands for Thursday. So instead of having T and T, they thought that, people think that's confusing. So there's a T and an R, so make sure that if you have an R, that you're going to class on Thursday and not just saying, there is no R day, so I guess I don't have to go, whatever that is. Your breakout instructor's name and room will be on your schedule next week, but for right now, it's on the back of your racing ticket. And another important thing is that there is no book required for this class. You will get all your materials through the Blackboard shell or through your breakout instructor through these general sessions. You don't need any more supplies for this class other than what you have. Now there is one important thing, and we're going to tag team on this one because it's important and we want to make sure you get it. And attendance is important. There's not many things that can make up coming to class. You can get notes from other people, you can do all these things, but you're going to work a lot harder trying to miss class and make up for it if you're just to miss out on a lot of cool information. For this class, attendance is important. In fact, it's so important it might ruin your Christmas and your stories around the dinner table as you share about your grades. Because if you do not attend class, what happens, Kevin?
You shall pass!
Will not pass.
And it's very important to attribute that exact reading of that to Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of 2001. Because it's always important to attribute and cite your sources. Great job from this start.
Yes, we're trying to model somewhat appropriate behavior. All right, so if you want to change your schedule, which means drop or add a class, you need to do that this week because once Thursday hits, you will then have to have an instructor's permission to let you into the class because a lot of the classes move at a quick pace. Some of them you may not be successful if you add it too late. So make sure that if you're going to make those changes, you're going to start thinking about that as soon as possible, and the Start Center can be able to help you with that. So make sure that you're processing that. Now we're going to give it back to Kevin.
Now, some of you who've been paying attention may have noticed a little something at the top of each of these slides. You'll note that those actually match up to your needs and knows on your sheet. So if you're ever wondering where we are in the presentation, what we're talking about, you want to make some notes on anything, that's where the numbering comes from. I didn't number them all the way down, all the way through. I thought that'd be a little old, but it gives you a reference. You have to take the 1-minute paper to the breakout session to get credit for attending today. I'm going to say that twice. You have to take it with you. You can't leave it behind here and show up in your breakout session without it because you won't get credit for attending class today. We're not tracking you in this room. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why do I have to come to this anyway? Well, let me tell you, that ticket is only available to you when you walk into this room, and it's a different color each week. So you have to have that ticket to get to your breakout room and get credit for your attendance. So in case you were trying to get away with anything, which I'm sure you wouldn't, you're not going to be able to do that. You have to enter your top 3 in Blackboard to get access to the pretest. So in your breakout, you're going to be talking about what's most important. What do you think about these items? What's working for you? What don't you know about? What do you have questions about? Because your host really rattled through a lot of things very quickly. So you have to take that pretest in Blackboard before Sunday night. Sunday night, 11 p.m., is that what it is? 11 p.m. Sunday night.
Start your instance.
So if you are wondering, how do I do Blackboard? Remember when I said log in, start exploring? That's what you need to do for this course and your other courses as well. So with that, I want you to know you have a syllabus preview here in this session, just to give you an idea in case you want to see what this class is about. However, your real syllabus, the true contractual syllabus, will come from your breakout instructor, where you'll be going to in just a little bit. There are a few last things I'd like to mention. You can set up email on your phone. That information was actually provided to you in orientation. But let me guess, that folder may not be somewhere you know where it is right now. We have that, is that not posted in Blackboard? It is. So you can, if you want to set up your KCTCS email on your smartphone, the instructions are waiting for you in Blackboard. You're also going to receive an email inviting you to set up your Merit profile. So that, we didn't send the email yet because we wanted to tell you it was coming. So if you get an email that says Merit or Merit Pages, it's from the college. Make sure you go in and do it. It's really easy. You can import your profile straight from Facebook. I even did it, and I'm not a fan of Facebook and only had a Facebook page as of this year because I had to. So anyhow, get your OCTC ID card. That's available in the library, and it's also a part of learning about the library services that's in the library scavenger hunt that Ms. Abel mentioned in her sponsor message, which I'm sure we didn't talk about, but that's what happened. And then last of all, install the KCTCS app. If you'd like to install the KCTCS app on your smartphone, you know how to do that if you have a smartphone, so just try it out. Keep in mind, a lot of times we're not going to show you how to do things here in the big session. If you don't know how to do something, ask in the breakout session. Your instructor might not know, and that's okay because your classmates will. A lot of them are trying these very things. One thing that's different about this class, there are a few assignments along the way that you have to plan ahead for. Your first plan ahead for assignment, just like when you get in, you're probably all of you are in an English class and it's one of the first papers due. The first plan ahead for assignment in this class is the library scavenger hunt. It's due Thursday, September 3rd. Why is it due Thursday instead of Sunday like everything else? Because that Sunday is Labor Day weekend. And we have a feeling you might have other plans. So when you get into Blackboard, find your library scavenger hunt, so you can go ahead and plan for that and get that in about 2.5 weeks.
Hey y'all, this is Horace. Horace has a message that he wants to share with everybody. So we have horse sense and we have horsepower. So Horace, the horse, he's very hungry.
You need to feed your horse, man.
Well, he needs to get his act together first. We'll talk about it. All right, so electronic resources. So we talk a lot about OCTC Wired, which are ways to be technologically connected to the college with your PeopleSoft and with email. But technology does not always work. Darn good luck. So we know that already. So in knowing that, planning ahead definitely makes this easier. So make sure that if you are going to start doing this, it's a lot easier to start doing it now. That way, if you do struggle with it, you're not overwhelmed with a lot of assignments elsewhere. And it's not when it's crunch time for an assignment for this class or another class. So this is working smarter. Part of working smarter is getting all those tools laid out before you get started. If you do have trouble with the online component in the library, which you will see as your scavenger hunt, there will be a sea of computers whenever you log in. And that's part of the Cyber Center, where there are people there that are able to help you set those things up and answer those questions. And just a good way to test it and make sure that it's working, where there's somebody who can guide you through that process. So use the resources that you have, because that's smart. It's also smart to lay out your tools before things get started and get crunch time.
Well, I appreciate that, man. It's nice of course to share, but it's really about horsepower. Yeah, I mean, you can work as smart as you want, but if you do not invest the time and effort, you will not be successful. I see this again and again. I have students that come in and they think, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake, and then I'm going to transfer on to another school. It's not as easy as you might think. I've taken myself over 20 credit hours from this college. I've also taken courses from the University of Arizona, from the University of Kentucky, from IU. From Miami University in Ohio, from a small liberal arts college. So I have all the way from Pac-10 to community college. I've taken across the board. Your classes here stack up. Your classes here are second to none in comparison to other places. They're not easy. You have to put the time and effort in. And I encourage you to do that now. Start this first week. Explore Blackboard. Explore PeopleSoft. Find out those things. You'll be glad you did, because you know what? In about 6 weeks, you're going to be sitting in a breakout session, and somebody's going to ask a question, and you're going to do something you shouldn't do, which is feel pretty smart. Because you already knew that answer back in the first week, because you invested the time and effort. With that, I do believe we're just about at that point. It's time to complete your 1-minute paper. Guess what? You don't have to. So with the 1-minute paper, we're going to start the clock just like we did for the other piece, and the students will have a chance to jot down their information on the 1-minute paper. Once they finish up, which will happen in about 60 seconds, that's when they're going to head for their breakout rooms, or begin the process of prioritizing the items. This afternoon, we have a number of breakouts about this course and what's going on with the QEP. And the thing I want to tell you that's most exciting about it is back when we started these conversations that Angela was telling you about, over 20 months ago, we were talking about persistence and success. And what kind of things students need to know up front to be successful in their courses. We have not adopted a textbook and brought in somebody else's solution. We have built an OCTC solution, and the people presenting in this course are OCTC people almost exclusively. So if we could bring the lights up, I'll show off a few of the items that are on the syllabus preview and tell you a little bit more. Also, you'll see this is going to kick off and send us off on the racing. Do you want to, don't leave yet, but you want to give them any special send-off words or practice to send off to the...
Let's go racing, y'all.
I really want to do boogie. Let's go racing more than those. We'll see. I think it's that the second week. So. I know, but I shouldn't do it. I'm used to not having a microphone, so I'm sorry for your viewers. But anyhow, if you look at what you have in front of you on the preview, you'll see the topics and the keynotes each week, and how we're going to have people from within the college presented. Dr. Williams is week 2. We have the TLC. We have the library. We have new beginnings coming from outside the Green Dot presentation that we've had here. There's Wise has hosted it, them and others over the years. They are actually coming and doing Green Dot for the entire class both times. It's a wonderful thing. We have a diversity presentation. We have another presentation that is 16 personalities. Those of you who have completed the Myers-Briggs years and years and years ago, well, there's a free version called 16 Personalities that's based on the same theory. You can learn more about that in the breakout session this afternoon. We'll have presentations from Track Central and careers. We have a new tool called Career Coach, something that Dr. Williams working with Title III. We managed to get a 1-year license paying for it through the grant. So thank you, Title III. That will provide a lot of local labor market information to our students and help a lot with career exploration. But the entire class is full of the needs and knows in the pre-test, and it's all OCTC specific. So if you go out and try and you can find these similar things elsewhere, but these are built to be ours. They are homegrown and they are coming from this community, not from somewhere else. And it's saving the students the cost of textbooks, so it's a wonderful opportunity. So with that, we would like to introduce you a little bit to some of the breakout sessions when you figure out the pockets of this new pair of Dickies, because I've never had Dickies before in my life. My wife said, I look like I'm working at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So I took that as a compliment. I fell off of it, so I was pretty excited. So this afternoon, as far as those of you who are teaching a breakout or maybe interested now, or at least intrigued, or maybe you just want to put on a good show for your associate dean, whatever works, if you'd like to join us to learn more about teaching FYU 100 breakout sessions, we have 2 sessions in the afternoon. We have a merit session, so you can learn about this. It's really, we've talked about it before, a co-curricular software. Or co-curricular transcript and tracks with students on campus. So students get credit for going to World Affairs lectures and common read events and teaching with the president, and the plays and the chorus and everything else. We have that software now, Merit. It's available, and we actually have, thanks to IT, Jim Hartz and his team, we have a scanner that works that beeps and scans in student IDs, and we can upload that directly into Merit so students will get automatically loaded in when they attend the session. We're going to still have to have sign-in sheets because not everybody has an ID, so they may forget it, or it may not work some week, but we're ready to start that process here with these events. So something that the campus community has been asking for a long time is ready to go and ready to try out. Also, I mentioned 16 personalities. We also have a couple of other, and Career Coach, Chris Alexander, Keith Ballard, and Brian Thomas are going to share some more information on that. We also have a couple other things that you might be interested to learn about, these video vignettes. And so I wanted to invite Matt, we have something ready to go back in the booth. So we're going to share a little bit. And Court, Angela, anything you want to introduce before we talk video vignette? And I think this mic is not live. But
I will say that Matt Oshbach has been the hardest working people on this campus this summer, putting together these vignettes. And the one that we're about to show you, I think Matt, how many are there? 5?
There's 6.
There's 6. But Dr. Corliss did probably what I think is the best one. I think we all agreed was fantastic. So I guess, Laura, if you want to go ahead.
I want to preface it. You can do this too, but it doesn't have to be a sort of, I tried to get a scowl and use some wisdom from Dr. Ledford.
So set the bar very high.
If we can turn the lights back down so we get the full effect of this.
Have you ever done anything stupid? I've never had an adult say, well, that builds character. Well, no matter how annoying it is to hear somebody say that builds character, it's true. Now, ethics is a word that gets thrown around a lot. I mean, we all have these intuitions about what's right and wrong. But ethics is an attempt to justify, to make sense of, to provide a rational and well-reasoned, consistent argument for why things are right and wrong. Now I can go on and on, I'm an ethicist. But let's keep it simple. As students, you're going to be faced with many ethical challenges. Do you cheat on a test? Do you plagiarize by copying and pasting? Do you use that paper you wrote for that other class? Do you buy a paper off the internet? Do you, well, I probably should stop giving you ideas. In here, you're going to be faced with a lot of tough choices. And ethics, both in terms of theoretical ethics, but also just ethics of a student in the college at OCTC, you have certain responsibilities and rights. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you to make the decision about what you're going to do. Are you going to take that shortcut? Are you going to lie? Are you going to cheat? Now, all of those instances of unethical behavior are only demeaning to yourself. It makes you less of a person. You don't grow. You don't mature. You don't face up to the responsibilities you have as an individual. It's also demeaning to the person you do it to the teachers and other professionals that are here to help you. You're saying, well, you're not morally worthy. I don't care who you are and what you want to do. I'm the only one that's important. Now, I don't mean to imply to this, and I don't mean to imply that making good ethical decisions is easy. It's very difficult. It's like when the teller at the grocery store accidentally gives you a $20 bill for change that you don't deserve. Do you give it back, or do you use that $20 to pay a bill or buy something fun? Well, ethics is going to tell you to give it back. Because ethics challenges you to build your character, for you to have integrity. You know what integrity is? That's that concept that when faced with challenges, people can depend upon you. Whether it means that somebody asks you a question and you tell the truth, or you make a promise and you follow through with it, or any other example of you doing what is right. That's integrity. And as students, you're going to find yourself, well, overwhelmed sometimes with school, with life. You can seek help. But in all these instances, you need to challenge yourself to be ethical. Because if you are, what you can do and achieve what people have been trying to achieve for since humans have existed. And that's to flourish. It's to live the good life. That's what the ancient Greeks called ethics, the good life. But that only happens when you live a certain way, when you're courageous in the face of temptation. So hopefully, as you work through your college career, you will strive to do what's ethical. And yeah, you'll make mistakes from time to time, but you have to own up to them, and you have to learn and mature and grow from them. Because we all make mistakes, but the true test of character is what do we do with those mistakes? Who do we become? This is Cord Lewis, PhD, Philosophy and Religious Studies at OCTC. Be well.
And there's more. But help me get a sense for just how, to come back again to what Dr. Williams was saying about this being our successes. These are our materials and our messages. You know, we could have used a video that was from some other college that talked about similar things. But these are people here on our campus and students will get to know. It builds a kind of trust. It serves as a role model to them of the kind of people they want to become. And so I think that's what is most beautiful about this. And there's a lot of credit that goes into this. Cord delivered this one take. It's just kind of amazing. There are places that do, there's whole production teams that make this happen. And what Matt did this summer to get the room ready, with the help he had help from Lorraine and others all the way through. The team that worked this summer, Dr. Maltney, Mr. Gish, Meredith, Matt, and Angela, all these were part of discussions and grew out of it. And so I really hope that you'll join us in this journey. Journey on this new course. It's something brand new for OCTC. Not anywhere else. No one else is teaching this FYE 100 course in the 1 credit hour required for all the way we are. And the one thing I wanted to let you know is the numbers are pretty amazing. As of yesterday, we had over 250 students registered in the Tuesday section, over 225 registered in the Wednesday, and over 100 registered in the online version of this. So we're reaching our students, and we're going to have an opportunity to get them on the path to success right from the very beginning. So with that, Meredith, is there anything else you'd like to add? Angela and Matt? Oh, there's a question for you. Yes, David, buddy. I see you've removed your hat.
Well, I can come back to that. But since it's the fourth Thursday, today is Tuesday, the first day of class, can I go ahead and drop this class?
You can drop this class. Unfortunately, if you do, you're going to have to register for it at the end. And so what will happen when you go to the Start Center is they're going to strongly discourage you from doing so. Because you're just going to end up registering. And basically you have to drop all your classes and drop this class anyway. It is required. We've had only a couple, believe it or not, and it'll happen over the next couple weeks, I'm sure. And this whole summer, Angela's my witness, I have not had to deal with a single parent or student who would argue with me about it. Which is just shocking to me, but it tells me what a great job the Start Center staff has done of explaining how this works, and the fact is you can't get away from it. And that has made a real difference for the online students too. And the online section is packed full. If you want to learn more about the online section, that's also a breakout section. So, wait, your second question.
Well, I just want to show you this mentioned the hat. Do you know how users wear baseball hats?
Easy.
This is off. This is on. This is locked on.
Words of wisdom from our faculty. Well, thank you all for joining us in this journey as we go along and for letting us share the beginning of the process. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Williams as we make our way to lunch.
Let's give these folks. I'm between you and lunch, and I got two quick things. Number one is, please know that everyone in this room has been an integral part of this process of this student. All the last 20 months, all of your input has been put into this course. Almost nothing's been left out. So you are actually the authors of what you just saw. And for that, thank you. And we are excited that it's going to help us too. So that's number one. Number two is today's event, as I mentioned earlier, I talked about the Davis County teachers that are accredited and how important they are to the lunch you're getting ready to have. And I hope you will enjoy that. But I also want to take a moment to thank that this event would not be possible without the help of the Kickoff Committee. So without mentioning names, I'd like those of you that are on the Kickoff Committee to please stand. You're outside. So please take a moment to recognize those people that are outside because they're doing all the hard work to make sure that you can learn and enjoy from today. So please congratulate those folks. I think right now we're ready, Dr. Swan, to break for lunch. Is that correct? And where lunch will be is out on behind the administration building on the patio area. You have the option, if it's a little too warm for you, you can take your lunch over and eat in the coolness of the ATC Park. I know I'm a little outdoor guy. And then there's also an opportunity to eat under the tent if you prefer that. Breakout sessions start at 1:15. Go on.
That'll work. Yeah, pretty good. coming from Wednesday.